So here's just a quick little update. My 125-gallon reef tank. Excuse the glass. Some of these scrapes on this algae that's starting to grow. Some of this coralline algae on the glass. But it's almost 8 months old now. My tank. Pulsing zinnias have been kind of growing like crazy. Of course, got all these up here now. I just cut one of the stalks off here earlier today, right there in the corner. Red mushrooms back there. There's some green and orange zoas. Not really sure the name for them. I just know some kind of mixed masters. A set of red, orange ones and a set of green ones growing there with each other. Candy cane corals. They're just now starting to get their tentacles out. It's getting about that time. About an hour before my lights go out. Got some random button polyps growing there on the rocks. And another colony of button polyps back there. They don't seem to like a real intense light, so that seems to be a nice shaded area for them. And of course, feather duster in the rock here. Small mushrooms there on the side of the rock. Green star polyps. They've been doing real well. Colt coral. Still need to figure out what to do with this thing. You can see my green clown goby. He's hanging out in there. Yeah, my colt coral just big, really takes up a lot of space. I had a problem with when I rearranged everything here about a month ago. I couldn't really get him to stay in one spot. He'd just pick up for his size. Just the current in the tank would be enough to kind of blow him over, and he kind of was up on top of his devil's hand coral for a few days. So let's see, he's not very happy right now. I'm not sure if he's going to survive or not. Some of his fingers there got a lot of tissue loss. So I know he had a few polyps opened up earlier today. I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on him. Look like he's kind of shedding a layer right now. See how he does over the next week or so. He's I've had him for quite a long time. One of the first corals I ever got, so he's hung in there real well through everything. Purple fire goby. I got another regular goby, but he, for whatever reason, keeps jumping inside that overflow. I keep fishing him out, and he just keeps jumping back in there. So I'm not sure what to do with him. But he's in the overflow right now. Bird's nest coral. That thing's grown really well since I've had it. And just a huge amount of growth since I've had it. It was just a pretty small fry when I first got it. Some orange cap, of course. Clam. This clam, just can't really seem to find the right spot for him. Every place now just seems a little awkward. I just moved him to this spot yesterday. Actually, this morning. So see how he does there. My millipora, it's been growing really well. That's one I just about lost. I would have to say probably about 75% of the coral had died off and was just solid white, starting at the base, working up, and it's really made a comeback. And, trumpet coral. Another couple of mushrooms on the rocks back there. More green star polyps. Another candy cane coral. This thing's been growing all right. Haven't seen really a lot of growth out of it. It's starting to divide, get some more heads on it, but it just hasn't been growing as well as my other candy canes or even the trumpet coral. Got this toadstool coral. He's been doing pretty well. I got another little section of zoas down here. I just started off with a frag of probably about maybe 10 little heads on there. Now there's probably about 40. So they've been growing really well. A couple more zoas that just showed up on this rock here. More green star polyps. This guy's closed up because I pulled him out of the tank just to let someone, kind of show that this is just a frag I had made. Another frag, green star polyps on that rock there. And another devil's hand leather coral. You can see the little patch right next to it. That was actually the base off of that one. They're both on the same rock when I originally got them as frags. Each just a single, single like a little stem or finger. And I cut it off as close to the rock as I could. And it looks like that little piece that stayed behind is growing. The polyps extended out. So I'll have to see how that turns out. Got another little rock with some green mushrooms on it down here. Another clam, cabbage coral, which he's not quite as happy as he used to be now that I got this Monty above him. So I guess you call it green Monty. It's been growing really well in the tank, a lot better than my red cap coral. This green one's just really growing out a lot nicer. See my lawnmower blemmy there. And of course, my clowns, they tend to hang out on this side of the tank. Coral Beauty, the yellow tang. Looks like he's kind of nipped in it. This will be the first time I see him go really near anything. Any of the corals, that is. Doesn't look like he's really doing any damage to him, at least. At least I hope it's not my tank. Now my frog spawn. That thing's been growing real well in this tank. Got another candy cane coral back there. That one got the same time as this candy cane coral right here. And the light's kind of put a little shine on it. It's kind of to see the coloring, but each of them had 3 heads. This one now is probably got a good dozen heads on it. It's just been splitting and growing like crazy, like a giant ball of heads. And as you can see, this guy is still not quite there yet. He's definitely a lot slower growth. And my other bird's nest coral, this thing's also grown quite well since I've had it. Just really exceptional growth on it. And another toadstool coral. And this thing's also been growing quite well since I've had it. Been real happy with the growth in this tank and with these new lights. And so far, this tank's just been I've done pretty well with my corals. The only issues I've had with anything is this devil's hand this last few days. Ever since he kind of got squashed by that coral there for about a good day and a half, and then I tried to pull in some frags off of this giant coral thinking I could get some frags and maybe thin it down a little bit, but to this day I've only had a single frag, which is sitting here actually attached to a rock. I actually now have 3 or 4 frags of coral that have floated around in different little crevices in my tank that are still growing, polyps extended, just not attached to anything, kind of free floating frag, which I see there's one hiding back there behind that rock. Kind of hard to see, but he's there. Starfish. A small little frag of pulsing Zenas. Well, it was pretty small when I started, but it's been growing pretty well. Back there's a frag I just did earlier today. He's a pretty big rock, but I figure how fast I grow, he'll grow to cover that rock pretty quick. There's another one of my frags of the colt coral, and I've had this thing sitting on this rock now for probably about a month. And I just checked it last week, and it still had not even made any attempts to attach to this rock. So I've decided they're very stubborn, thinking of trying to look at fragging some of these candy canes coral, candy canes bird's nest coral. Think about doing some frags for that'd be a lot easier. Cutting off some branches, super gluing some frag plugs is I think it's a lot easier to frag these stony corals than these soft corals. And then got a Kenya tree back there. That thing has never been happy, never really done much until I moved it way back there in the corner. And he's finally starting to open up and show signs of life again. And then I also got some more zoas on the rock back there. Kind of hard to see, but ain't the best camera here in the world. So there it is. My tank. Don't have any big plans on any major changes or anything yet. Plan on would really like to get some metal halide lighting and get more into the SPS and some LPS corals, and try to get a little bit more away from the soft corals. I really like the LPS corals, frog spawn. I've been looking for maybe like a nice hammer coral. I really like the candy cane corals, bird's nest. I'm going to try and get more into some of the staghorns and more different millipora, some slimers. And of course, kids and wife would like to see a few more fish in the tank. Maybe some, add some chromis, get a little school of chromis going in here. So there it is, my 125 gallon tank. Like I said, it'd be about 8 months old.